What's up, bros? I'm Jonathan.
And I'm Caleb.
We are a couple of bros on a mission to give you guys the most detailed movie reviews out there with as little bias as possible. Welcome to the All Bros. This week on the podcast, we'll be talking about two items in 4K Spotlight. One movie we both have seen and one movie that I'm assuming we both have seen. But maybe Caleb is watching horror movies without my knowledge, that bitch. Just kidding.
You know that's not true.
Yeah, you're right.
You just wanted to call me a bitch, asshole.
I did. I very much did. We got nothing for Through the Wall, so after that we'll be moving on to our headliner of the evening, which will be our breakdown of Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. So Caleb, what do you say we get started?
I say let's do it.
Hello, my name is Brucker Nurse, and I want to tell you about my fun horror movie podcast called Autopsy of a Horror Movie. On my show, I like to have fun dissecting out what makes a horror movie scary, what worked for it, what didn't, what types of fears does it play off of. Is it an allegory for any sort of message? I don't know, but let's find out. Also, I like to watch slashers. I'm a big slasher guy, so I'll watch a slasher and do a kill grade for it. I will cover the kills and I will tell you how I would grade it based on shock, method, style points, and a fourth category that is a reflection of the movie. Besides those, I'll have fun with special topic episodes, commentary tracks, interviews with guests, including some Shudder directors, so I just like to have a fun time over here. If any of this sounds interesting to you or you just want to come check me out, please head over to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere they listen to podcasts and search for Autopsy of a Horror Movie. Also be sure to find me on Instagram at Brucker Horror, where you get fun updates and some cool little posts that I do. Thanks for listening, and I hope that you get to enjoy the show, and I'll see you on Instagram. Bye.
Alright, so with 4K Spotlight, we got two movies coming out. The first one being Black Adam, which will be getting two exclusives. One being a Best Buy exclusive steelbook. Is anyone really shocked by that? But I will say I like the regular 4K cover more than the steelbook, because the steelbook is just like a close-up of The Rock's face with his hood on and his eyes glowing. But the regular 4K cover has him sitting on the throne in like a cool-ass pose. I think that looks way cooler.
Dude, it looks freaking sick.
Yeah. So that's one of the exclusives, and then the other one is a Walmart exclusive that comes with a. So you'll get the 4K copy of Black Adam along with a. I'm assuming it's a Walmart exclusive Funko Pop, or maybe they just put in the Well, no, actually, no. That one does look different. So it is an exclusive, sorry. You'll get the 4K copy of Black Adam along with an exclusive Funko Pop if you guys want to get that. So, like I said, it's a Walmart exclusive. But other than that, we're just getting a bare bones 4K and Blu-ray release. I love that, like, Warner Brothers does, like, the poster art for just the regular Blu-ray, but for like when it comes to the 4K, they like go all out, and like they'll either like do like the cool ass teaser posters for these movies, or like they'll just like make up their own new art, and I love it.
Yeah, dude. I will say with that Walmart one, not super impressed with the pop figure.
Yeah, I'm not either, honestly.
I know. I know The Rock has to rock, but I hope with James Gunn just kind of doing a total revamp of the DCU, I hope when they do go back, like go to do Black Adam, I hope we get a Black Adam with hair.
Yeah, that I can agree with that.
Like, that's always kind of been, like, the staple. Like, he always kind of has, like, the Vulcan haircut.
Yeah.
Like, I've always dug that, and then, like, the same thing with, like, the ears. So, like, The Rock not doing any of that shit, like, obviously just doing, like, a shaved head. Like I said, The Rock's got a rock, but I was kind of hoping for more.
That's fair.
And honestly, dude, like, I think they freaking hit the nail on the head. The dude who played his son's version of Black Adam, I guess.
Yeah.
The champion. I am willing to bet that he'd make a really freaking good Black Adam. Like,
right.
like he plays a young version of The Rock on the show Young Rock. Like he plays the 90s version of him, like when he was getting big in the WWE.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so like has the hair and everything. And so I feel like he'd be a really good fit. But he does kind of have like a Rock. Like, it's so weird to say this, but he kind of like acts like The Rock.
Okay.
Where his acting ability isn't the best, but I don't know if that's his fault or if it's because he's playing The Rock.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, have you watched Young Rock?
Yeah, I've actually really enjoyed that version.
Is it as good as Young Sheldon?
Young Sheldon is better.
Okay.
Young Rock is. Have you ever seen A Princess Bride?
I actually have not.
Okay, so like the way that I can best describe Young Rock is it kind of has that type of storytelling where so like the whole show is run around Randall Park interviewing The Rock for his presidential campaign in 20 whatever.
Okay.
Like somewhere down like in the future. And so so Randall Park is interviewing The Rock, and The Rock is like sharing all these stories from different periods of time in his life. So they have like when he was a young kid and his dad was like the hot ticket item, and talking about like how he grew up around like Andre the Giant and let's see who else. Shit, I'm not super like well acquainted with these guys. Like Randy Savage.
Okay.
So like how he grew up around those guys, because his dad was like one of them, but then made some like bad business deals. And then there's like a teenage version of him. Like when he was growing up in the 80s and dealing with his dad having been kind of like blacklisted from WWF and all of that. And then, so that's like his teen years, like 15, 16 area. And then they have the older version of him where it's like the early 90s, where it's like kind of starts off with him playing football for Miami. Eventually going off to Canada and then like picking up his like wrestling career and like starting it. Like they just barely got to the point where he adopted the name The Rock.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, because his dad's wrestling name was Rocky, like Rocky Johnson.
Okay.
And so the Rock went by Rocky Maivia, and so everyone just called him Rocky. And so when people would like address him and his dad in public and be like, "Hey, Rocky," like they got confused on who they were addressing.
Okay.
And so like he eventually was just like, "Okay, yeah, we need to address that," and so he changed his name to The Rock.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So like it's cool. Like it's definitely cool, and like it's good stories, good storytelling. It's just the maybe the setup is a bit odd.
All right.
because it's like, because it'll be like on the Rock, like talking to Randall, and he's just like, well, like just some big life lesson, like, I don't really do that anymore because when I was a kid, this is a lesson that I learned, and blah 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 blah, and then like get into like the actual story.
Gotcha.
And so I'm like, that feels a bit annoying. like it's like, okay,
fair.
just get to the story, dude.
Fair enough.
And like it always has to, like, revolves around someone doing something. Like right now, like their whole thing is that the Rock has to go to another country because there's a coffee shortage in the US, and the main coffee supplier to the US is like not wanting to do trade deals, and so he travels to like the leader of that country, and it was just someone that was elected that was like kind of a nobody and having like that imposter syndrome, and he's like, oh yeah, well I felt that, and like this is how I handled it, like dealing with this back in the 90s when I was like doing this and that with WWE or WWF. And it's just like, dude, just get to the story.
Huh, okay.
So I mean, it's good. It's like once you get past the cheesy like Rock stuff and get into like the story, it's pretty good, but not anywhere near close to freaking Young Sheldon. Like I freaking love Young Sheldon.
All right, cool. The other new release coming out besides Black Adam is Pray for the Devil. And I did not see this one in theaters, nor do I really have any urge to see it.
The way we talking about it.
I don't know. I mean, it's still a new release. And I mean, the cover is like really cool. You got to give it that. Kind of like freaking it's like kind of like messed up. Like you see, like it's a little girl with like, I'm assuming like satanic hands going over her face, freaking hair going into her mouth, and then of course the hands are holding a cross. Just, it's a very busy cover, and I kind of love it. So yeah, if you guys want to check out Pray for the Devil, comes out as well Tuesday. So yeah, you got Black Adam and Pray for the Devil. So that's it for 4K releases or 4K Spotlight. So Caleb, what do you say we move on to our headliner?
I say let's do it.
All right, so like I said earlier, our headliner of this evening will be our breakdown of Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. But before we jump into that, we did ask a question of the week. Yeah, we're bringing these back, guys. We're finally bringing them back. And we actually got some responses. So, Caleb, do you have those pulled up?
Yes, I am just about to pull those up.
Okay, sweet.
Maybe. Okay. So, for those of you that don't know, so we posted this on Twitter and Instagram. I don't think we got any hits on it with Instagram. Let me just double check to make sure, but I'm pretty sure it's a no. Yeah, that is a negative. Nothing on Instagram. But we did get a few responses over on TikTok. So the question that we asked was, like in Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, Puss had 9 lives, but is down to his last life. So we asked, if you had 9 lives, what are some ways that you would lose some of those? And the responses we got are pretty great. So the first one we got wasn't really it was a response, but I'm going to read it anyway. It was from Gummy8601, who just said, yay. So we appreciate your response.
We appreciate your yay. Yay.
Yeah. And then we got some like legitimate answers. So let's see. We got Kenny with Guns 2, who responded, jumping off a bridge because I was curious.
You know what? I like that.
I know, right? Like, no one
That's a
wants to
good
say,
one.
like, oh yeah, I would totally jump off a bridge, but it's just like, I feel like everyone gets that urge. Just like, I wonder what it'd be like to jump off this bridge.
My favorite thing whenever I hear that, I think of like the classic oh, if your friends jumped off a bridge, would you? Like what your mom would say.
Yeah.
Best one I've seen is when your mom's like, oh, if all your friends jumped off a bridge, would you? And the kid's just like, hell yeah, that's my bro, mom. Of course I would.
Those are my boys.
Oh, exactly. It's funny shit.
Yeah, freaking true though.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I'm definitely not the one that's like, I'm not like thinking, oh yeah, I want to jump off the bridge just like because I feel like that's like a good way to die. But it's just like, if I feel like I could survive this, I would be willing to try it. But yeah, like
fair.
Completely understandable with this one. Let's see. Next one we got was Bruh Moment Yee.
Okay, I like your name.
Yeah, I don't know how or it's like
bruh moment.
Yeah, I don't know how else to like to say that. Just bruh moment. YE.
Yeah. Bruh moment. Yeet.
He said eating fiberglass because yummy cotton candy.
Okay.
Do you know what he's talking about?
No, I don't.
Okay, have you ever seen insulation in a house?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so that
Okay.
like the insulation in the houses are usually like fiberglass. So that's what he's talking about.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and that's like one of those things. Totally get it, dude.
Yeah. Same, as do I.
Oh man. Like, dude, I can't imagine how horrible that death would be. Because like you would think that that stuff is just like super soft and like fun to play with or whatever, right?
Yeah, I would assume so.
Yeah, that shit will like eat your arms up and make you itch like you've never itched in your life.
You thought chicken pox was bad.
Dude, like legit. Like when I work with that stuff, I have to wear long sleeves.
Shit, man. God damn.
Like it is wretched if that gets on your skin. But again, it's one of those things that like just looks good to eat. Oh. So yeah, definitely one of those things. All right, and then our last response comes from Master_Bowl251, who says, hug as many cacti because I'm curious.
Okay. That might be my favorite one.
Really?
Ow, but just ow. I think that's probably why, just because, like the bridge one I get, but, like, I get you're curious, but why? Like, who the hell wants to hug a cactus? I think that's why it's my favorite.
I feel like it's just, like, cactus are just so oddly shaped. But I feel like, okay, out of all three of these, it's like eating fiberglass might be my favorite because it's, like, one I totally get. But... But the cactus, I've had cactus stuck in my ass before, and it's not fun.
Okay. I gotta know, how the hell did you get cactus stuck on your ass? We need a story time here.
Well, it's not much of a story. It's just I was riding a
Damn.
bike and went to stop, but when I went to stop, it was on dirt, and so it was like drifting. And so like I tried to turn but I hit a rock, and then I just kind of like tumbled over into some freaking cactus.
Oh shit, man.
Like I said, nothing fun, but
what? That sounds like a freaking blast. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it wasn't like crazy or anything. It's just riding my bike in the dirt and getting real unlucky with where I landed when I fell.
Oh shit.
But yeah, I will say this. I didn't know I had it in my ass for a while. Like, I know I fell into a cactus and there was like some stuck to my shirt, and I like pulled those out, no problem. But I was I was riding my bike like back to wherever the hell I was, and just kept feeling this like scratching like on my butt. And I was just like, what the hell? And I was adjusting, just trying to get comfortable, not realizing that that's what it was. And so I adjusted and I like moved in a way, and it just kind of pushed the cactus a little further up my ass. And I was like, oh, okay. And so I got off my bike and like realized that it was like right on my freaking pants pocket.
Nice. Hell yeah, man.
Yeah, but that shit lingers.
Oh shit.
Oh, anyway. But yeah, that's all the responses we got. So thank you to everyone that responded.
Yes,
we really appreciate you.
Yes, amazing responses. Loved it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, getting on to our review. Caleb, do you want to let people know how we break down movies on this podcast?
I would love to. If you are new to our breakdown system, we have split movies into 8 different categories that we individually score to come to a final All Bros letter grade. The 8 categories that we score are story, writing, acting, character development, effects, music, costumes, and then we give it our own personal score at the very end. All of those numbers get magically added up and spit through our algorithm. That gives us a letter grade to compare this movie to others of a similar grade, as well as a percentage that gives us a official ranking for these movies. The rankings don't really matter as much as the letter grade does, but it's still kind of fun to know where they rank within their schoolhouse grade.
Yeah.
So yeah. Without further ado, if you have not seen Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, definitely do yourself a favor and go check this one out. It is currently only available in theaters, but is definitely worth the price of admission. So, with that, if you listen past this point, Rose is about to spoil the entire movie for you. So if you listen past this point and it's spoiled, it's your own fault.
Yeah.
So yeah, without further ado, Rose.
Yeah, reading with Rose. Here we go. Alright, after the events of the first film and sometime after Shrek Forever After, Puss in Boots hosts a party in the governor's mansion when an earthen giant attacks them. He manages to subdue the giant, but is crushed by a bell shortly after. Waking up, he is informed by a doctor that he only has 1 life left after dying 8 times before. Puss initially brushes it off, but after losing a duel with a black-hooded wolf in a local pub that night, he reluctantly goes to the house of Mama Luna, an elderly cat lady, to be a domesticated pet, seemingly putting his outlaw career to rest. Time passes, and within his new home, Puss has grown a beard and meets an optimistic dog who has disguised himself as a cat to eat the endless supply of food. Their conversation is cut short when Goldilocks and the three bears crime family shows up to find him. However, after they find Puss's marked grave, they inadvertently reveal the existence of a wishing star to Puss and that the map will be delivered to Big Jack Horner that night. Seeing it as an opportunity to restore his lives back, Puss breaks into Jack's factory to steal the map, unexpectedly reuniting with Kitty Softpaws, who holds a grudge on him after a previous incident at Santa Columba. After a skirmish with Goldie's group and Jack Horner's goons, they, along with Perito, the dog from the cat home, manage to escape with the map, which instructs them to go to the dark forest. Entering the forest, the trio find out that the dimension morphs into different landscapes to whoever wields the map. The dimension transforms into a hellish setting for Puss and Kitty, though it becomes simpler when held by Perito. While riding downstream into the river of relaxation, Puss gets his beard shaved off by Kitty before getting rid of a stick which Perito follows, leading to the latter being captured by Jack. Goldie and her gang arrive, and a skirmish ensues, but mid-fight, Puss sees the hooded wolf again and runs off in fear, distracting Kitty and enabling Goldie to obtain the map. Puss reveals and elaborates what happened at Santa Columba to Perito. He left Kitty at the altar at the town's church on his wedding day, which she has regretted ever since. Kitty overhears their conversation and reveals that she never came to the altar either, feeling like she could never compete with someone who loves himself more than her. The two manage to reclaim the map from Goldie's group, but Perito is captured by them. As the dimension morphs, Puss is accidentally trapped in the Cave of Lost Souls after touching the map and instructs Kitty to retrieve Perito. Inside the cave, Puss encounters his past lives and the hooded wolf again, who introduces himself as Death and reveals that he wants to obtain Puss's last life as retribution for evading him. Puss cowardly runs away with the map, an act which Kitty and Perito sees from afar. Meanwhile, Goldie reveals that she wishes for a human family, much to the bear's dismay. Finally, reaching the star, Puss is about to make his wish, but is stopped by Kitty, who calls him out for his selfishness. Shortly after, they are interrupted by Goldie and Jack, and a fight ensues, during which Jack is thrown into his magical bottomless bag by Kitty, and Goldie saves Baby Bear when he is almost thrown off the star. Puss encounters Death again, and a fierce duel erupts between the two. After he boldly stands up to Death and defeats him in the clash, the cloaked wolf begrudgingly decides to spare Puss, remarking that they will meet again before departing. Just then, Jack reemerges from his bag, having eaten a cookie that makes him grow big, and seizes the map from Puss and Kitty. As Jack attempts to make a wish, Perito manages to distract him long enough for Puss, Kitty, and Goldie to reclaim and rip the map to shreds, causing the wishing star to collapse and killing Jack. In the aftermath, Goldie finally accepts being a part of the bear family, while Puss reconciles with Kitty. Sometime later, they, along with Perito, steal a boat from the governor and set sail to new adventures and to reunite with some old friends. Yeah, I'll fully admit at the end, when you see the frickin' far, far away in the background, I'm like, oh my god! I lost my shit.
Dude, me too. I was just like, there's no way. They freaking set up a sequel.
They did! Shrek's coming back!
Dude, I can't wait to hear the announcements on that.
Yeah, dude, me either.
Oh, man, I'm so pumped. And I hope they keep the animation style. That's like my biggest hope.
I hope so too. Because, yeah, it's so freaking good. Like, it's so different, and I love it.
Yeah, I think the animation style works really well for Puss in Boots, just because of how like action-packed his life is. It's going to be interesting to see if they take the same route with the future Shrek project.
Yeah, I agree. That is going to be very... I mean, but they did, like... I know, I saw they pointed out that they did the same thing with the bad guys. So this is definitely the road that DreamWorks is wanting to start to go down. Like, definitely, like, try to keep it with the animation that they've established, but also kind of like add like into the Spider-Verse-esque animation to all their projects.
Yeah, which I'm honestly not upset about in the slightest.
No, I'm not either. I'm all
like
for
this
it.
is easily one of my new favorite like animation style.
Same here.
Yeah, it's just like I know like the only thing that I'm like hesitant about at least when it comes to Shrek, like I said, this works really well with Puss in Boots because it's just action packed as all hell. Bad Guys, same deal. Like it was action packed, like very action heavy. Spider-Verse, very action heavy as well. It's just kind of like Shrek doesn't scream action packed to me.
That's fair.
So it's just going to be interesting how that animation style works within the Shrek world without making it feel too modern. Or not modern, too like muted. Like if they're not doing like crazy action with it. But yeah, super freaking pumped. But anyway, getting into this breakdown, the story for this was really freaking good.
It really was. And like I feel it had so many surprises. Like because I honestly don't know if I don't know if I actually watched any of the trailers for this movie or took a look at the poster that well, because when they did the whole like freaking like Goldilocks and the Three Bears, that just came out of freaking nowhere for me, and the freaking Three Bears scared the ever living shit out of me when they were first introduced, because I straight up thought that they were just going to be like just like three slaves to Goldilocks.
Yeah, I know. That's like, what I thought too. I was just like, this is going to be weird.
Yeah, like, damn, y'all are going like really dark, and you know what? I kind of love it. But then, you know, of course, that's not the direction they go. But you know what? That's okay, because the direction they do go with the Bears is great. But yeah, just that. I had no idea who Jack Warner was. I've never read the fairy tales of him. So he was a brand new character for me, and fantastic character, fantastic villain. Freaking all the villains in this movie are fantastic, especially the wolf, Death. I remember a reviewer I saw pointed out that I'm pretty sure that that character could give kids nightmares, and yeah, I absolutely agree. That's some scary
100%.
Yeah, was Iris okay after this movie?
She was actually fine.
Okay, that's good.
Like I think she so for those of you that don't know, I took Iris, my 2-year-old daughter, to go see this movie and I think she was able to recognize that he was a villain. Like she just kind of had that like really good instincts when it comes to that, and I think it's just a matter of how he was animated too. Like he was very scary, and she wasn't like super scared. Like she wasn't trying to hide or anything when he came on screen. He was an intimidating figure for her, like because I could tell she'd be like ooh, but it wasn't anything that like scared her.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, like I think she recognized him as the bad guy because when he was fighting Puss, he was like, she was very like, oh no, like watch out, like and doing that sort of thing. But yeah, like she did so well with this movie. Like she did even better with this movie than Minions.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she did awesome. Like now, this is gonna be like any kids movie that we do from now on. I'm taking her with me.
Yes, I love it. Was there a lot of people in your screening?
Surprisingly, no. So I went to go see this. Like, I try to choose a time, at least when I take Iris, a time that is somewhat inconvenient to people.
Okay.
Like, I feel like Tuesdays are usually like the cinema's like busy days, especially if you live in an area that do like $5 Tuesdays, which our area does. But I went to the local AMC, which is already an unpopular theater. But we went to the 11 o'clock showing, which I feel like it was like the first showing for Puss in Boots. So I feel like that's just like 11 is just kind of like the perfect time where I know I could get Iris up and out the door, but I feel like other people wouldn't be able to do that with their kids, and they like usually try to go for a time that's a little bit later, like around sometime afternoon. Like, I think 11 is just like really pushing it for kids. So that's where I thought, I'm like, okay, I feel like I have a decent shot at getting into a good viewing at 11, and which we did, because we were the only ones in the theater, other than like one other guy.
Okay, cool.
That was like a little shady.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah, like he came in and I got a little bit nervous because he was just like, he came in with like his wearing a hoodie with sunglasses, like dark sunglasses, and I'm like, why are you doing that, bro?
Yeah, that okay. Throwing up some red flags.
Yeah, some major red flags. And so what I did, this is gonna. So I gave Iris her ticket, which she dropped somewhere, which I'm super upset about. I wish I want to do like something where, like, for her, where I keep all of the tickets for the movies that I take her to.
Aww.
And I want to do that with like both my kids. I haven't found out like exactly what I want to do with it yet. Like, I was talking to Brielle, and she said that she had a friend where they went to movies like every week during like one summer, and so she made like a picture frame, but then like Mod Podged all of the movie tickets onto the frame.
Dude, that's so cute.
Yeah, right? And I'm like, okay, that's cool, but I want to do something like better.
I love that.
So I don't know exactly what I want to do, and it's like it needs to be something that I can replicate, because I want to be able to do it with both of my kids.
Yeah.
Or like all of them, I guess, if we have more than two.
I was gonna say, is this like bro, are you like announcing on this podcast that something's happening?
No, not yet.
Okay. I was like, cause I can't believe you didn't tell me before we recorded. Like, this is how I find out. Like, wow.
No, you'd find out like day one.
Yes.
But anyway, like, I want to do something. So if any of you that like have ideas on something I could do, like I what I'm gonna do for now is like build a little bit, like a little box or something that I can store all of the tickets in. But
okay.
I want to do something with the tickets. I just don't know what yet.
Yeah. Okay.
Like,
Dude,
I still have our tickets.
That's gonna be
from,
so cute.
Yeah, I know, right? And like, I want to like give it as a birthday gift when they like are like 18 or something like that.
Yeah. Aw, dude, that's gonna be so cute. I love this idea.
Yeah, but it's just like movies are kind of like my big thing.
Yeah.
Like the thing that I like go to do a lot. And so like my plan kind of has to revolve around going to see lots of movies with them.
Yeah.
Like a frame, like the whole frame thing, like it's a decent idea, but with how many movies we would go, like me and my kids would go to see, it's just way too many to fit on like one frame.
No, man, I get you.
So yeah, like I said, I'll have a way to store them, but I need a way to like present them or to
Okay.
like a display for them.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, if anyone has an idea, let me know. But anyway, getting back to like the whole big bad wolf thing, like like I said, she was able to recognize the big bad wolf as the villain.
Gotcha.
She was able to do the same thing with like Jack Warner, and she was a little. I think she got a little confused by Goldilocks.
That's understandable. I completely understand that.
Yeah, but I mean, she did like enjoy the funny moments with them.
Yeah.
So that was kind of fun for me to see, but
Yeah. Aww.
but yeah, it's I think that may have been my only like real big issue with this story is it felt like it got very crowded.
I see where you're coming from with that. I don't know. For me, it didn't really feel that way. Like I feel everything that they had to cover made sense. Like it made sense that we had basically 3 villains, even though Goldilocks and the Three Bears, like they were kind of. I don't. How the hell would you explain them? Like I guess they were villains, but not at the same time.
Yeah, I mean they did have some antagonistic qualities to them, but
True.
I don't know. It was odd. So, like, for those of you that don't know, like, Goldilocks and the Three Bears were after this map that led them to the Last Wish. And the Three Bears didn't know what Goldilocks was going to wish for because she's just kind of the ringleader. But Goldilocks was wanting to wish for a real family.
It's like, ugh, that's gotta hurt. Like when she said that, I'm like, damn.
Yeah, I know. It's just like, holy shit.
Look, all I'm saying is they could have eaten you when they caught you, eating their porridge and sleeping in their beds, but they didn't. They took you in, and then you're going to slap them in the face with, "Oh, I actually want a real family. I want humans." It's like, damn.
Dude, I think what got me in the feels was when Mama Bear was just like, okay, like it. You could tell that it like hurt her, but she's like, if that's what will make you happy, like that's what will help you do. And I'm like,
That
good.
was very sweet.
Like, dude, that freaking was just an emotional gut punch.
That was a very good scene.
Like, oh man, like that just hurt my feels like so bad. That was rough. But anyway, it's like, yeah, like you understand like the appeal of this, like the Last Wish. I think it would have. I think we needed a bit more foreshadowing that that was the goal from Goldilocks, because it
yeah,
I don't feel like we got to sit with that enough.
that's fair.
At least
that's
not in the
absolutely
way
fair.
that we got to sit with Jack Warner and his wish,
Yeah,
where it was very obvious Jack Warner wanted to like put an end to magic, or not an end. He wanted to like have the only magic in the world. So we knew kind of from the get-go that was his ultimate goal.
true.
It's just, and then Goldilocks was just a little up in the air. It was very, I thought like initially that she was going to wish for like her and the Three Bears to be like the big crime bosses. Like, because like the way that she was saying like, oh, I'm just going to wish for everything to be just right. It's like, okay, what does that mean? But then it just kind of felt like, oh yeah, we're doing crime. So I'm like, okay, so they just like wanting to wish for being like a crime boss, or What's the deal with that?
Did it ever cross your mind that maybe it was just me that like maybe her just right would have been her wishing that she could also be a bear?
Ooh.
Or did
I did not anticipate
Yeah.
that as a possibility.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, okay, I will say at that moment I did not think of that, but I just barely thought of that. Like,
That would have been an interesting take.
yeah, that really would have.
Especially with like no one getting a wish.
Yeah.
Like that would have been a really interesting thing to explore. Like maybe she like was going to wish for that to like finally be because they did kind of like lead up to that where Baby Bear kept telling her like, "Oh, you're not a bear." Like he brought that
Yeah.
up like I think he brought it up a couple times where he's like, "Oh, you're not a bear." Like you're not a bear, you're not a bear. So ooh, that would have been a good one.
What the hell, DreamWorks? I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Like that interesting. Very interesting. I think that like that would have worked really well because like maybe that was their whole thing that like, maybe she didn't feel like fully accepted because she wasn't a bear. Because it felt like she had like the emotional attachment to them where it was like she viewed them as family because she called them mama and papa and like called him Baby Bear.
Yeah.
So yeah. Ooh. That's damn, that would have been a really interesting thing to explore. And that would have been a really good use of the wish.
Yes, absolutely agree. But
So,
alas.
yeah. But anyway, like I said, my issue was just near the end. It felt very busy, especially like with the Jack Warner thing. I think it just was. It felt very crammed, like just packed full of issues. Because it's like they like number one, they had to resolve the issue with Jack Warner, Goldilocks, and the Three Bears, and then immediately after they had to fix the issue with Death, like in the Big Bad Wolf. So it just felt like okay, there's a lot going on here. So yeah. I think that's like I said, that's my only issue with the story is that the conclusion of it felt very quick in the way that it concluded the story. So yeah. I'm not sure where I'm sitting with my story grade though. What are you thinking?
I don't know, I'd say I'm pretty high. Like honestly, overall, like it was a really good story for a sequel. Definitely dove a lot more into Puss in Boots as a character. Had some really good villains, and it was great to see Kitty Softpaws back. So I think I'm gonna go like a 91.
Oh wow. I don't think I'm quite in the 90s yet. It just with my issues.
Mm-hmm. Understandable.
But I am fairly high. Like I might be in like the 89 range.
All right. Fair enough.
Like I said, it's super close. Like the rest of the story was pure perfection. Like I feel like the way that we traveled through the different instances of like Puss in Boots were really good. Like we had like the top of his game, like Puss, and then we moved on to the living in fear and just like in a total shit show of a life version of Puss in Boots back to like a motivated to obtain a certain goal And then just dealing with all of the like the issues from his past when it came to like Kitty Softpaws.
Yeah.
And just like all that those issues, and like I feel like the only one that felt like out of place was Jack Warner. Like story wise.
Yeah, no, I get where you're coming from.
But I mean, he did make a pretty decent villain.
He really did.
There is an interesting like thought though that I just had. I wanted to look up real quick just to see if they were ever addressed. Because you remember in the first Shrek movie, the three bears were in that.
Oh, yeah, they were. Yeah, because, baby's crying. It's just like, this cage is too small.
Yeah, I'm wondering if, like, Goldilocks was in that movie at all. It doesn't seem like she was. Like, I just looked up Goldilocks and the Three Bears Shrek, and...
Nothing.
No, like, no Goldilocks, but definitely, like, the Three Bears. So, that's kind of funny.
Yeah, that really is.
So you can kind of tell there's no real continuity there. I don't think. I wonder if they like talked about those models like at all. Because in that version, so Mama Bear has a pink I don't even know what kind of hat that would be. Like a beret. And in the Shrek movie, she has like a pink bow.
I'm trying to remember. I think I'm remembering this from the first Shrek.
Yeah. This might be different bears. Because I think... Okay, so from what I can see, Papa Bear has, like, old man spectacles on. And Mama Bear has a pink bow. But then there's another... There's another picture with Mama Bear, and she's, like, a stuffed rug.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
What's that? Which one's that from, though?
What is that one in? Was it the third?
Oh, no.
Or was it the fourth?
Nope, that's still the first. Wait.
Really?
In the scene where Shrek's donkey takes a look around and sees other fairy tale creatures being captured and taken away, among those, the three bears with Papa and Mama Bear in one cage and Baby Bear in another. Later on, when Shrek finds all of these characters at his swamp, the camera shows Papa and Baby Bear together in front of a bonfire with Baby Bear crying. A few minutes later, a shot of Lord Farquaad's bedroom shows a bearskin rug, with the same pink bow Mama Bear was wearing in the first scene.
That's right. Yeah, it's so effed up.
However, she appears alive and well in Shrek Karaoke Dance Party, a musical short included on the Shrek VHS before the credits and set during the last scene of the movie before Shrek and Fiona leave on their honeymoon.
Okay.
So that doesn't make a lick of sense. So whatever. I guess you can't really trust Shrek continuity.
No, you really can't. So yeah. I'm like, good lord, that's fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, anyway. But yeah, sticking with writing, this was really well written.
Yeah, it really was super solid jokes, especially adult jokes. Like, I was not expecting to hear Puss in Boots say hell. That
I know that took me off guard too.
And then the fact that they kept cutting, they would cut out before they would say something. Like, I think there's a part where Kitty Softpaws was just like, "Well, this is a load up," and then someone cuts her off.
Yeah,
and they did a couple times for her and Puss. It was freaking hilarious. I loved it. But Oh my, dude, I got so happy when they still had the all cat. That made me so freaking happy when he made an appearance. I'm like, yes, that's like the biggest thing that I wanted from the first movie. So thank you so much for that. I appreciate that.
Dude, I am so upset that that was in one of the trailers that I watched.
It what? Oh, dude, I'm so glad I didn't watch any of the trailers.
Oh,
Yes, it makes me so happy.
I was still like thrilled that he was in this movie.
You can't have a Puss in Boots movie without the all cat. Like, come on.
Dude, totally agree. And gosh, like starting off, I thought the dog was going to be like super annoying.
I did too.
But he just like played a sweetheart. Like every scene that he was in, I was just like, "Oh, I freaking love you."
Oh my god! Especially the whole like when he's just like, "Are you sure you don't want to rub my belly? It's therapeutic." I'm like, "Oh god."
Yeah, but I love that he actually like got to perform that therapy dog role.
Yes, that was awesome.
Like for those of you that don't know, or that haven't seen it, Puss starts to either hallucinate or starts to see the big bad wolf that's coming for him, and kind of has a big panic attack where he's like running away from him, but is just scared to death. And and the dog, what's his name? Perrito?
Yeah, Perrito.
Yeah. Comes and finds him in the woods, and he's like laying under a tree, and he's like hyperventilating, just breathing very, very heavy, just and then Perrito comes and like lays on his stomach and lays on like Puss in Boots' stomach and like slowly calms him down and tries to like talk with him and basically acting as a therapy dog. And it like that was just like such a sweet moment, and a moment set in reality. I feel like that kind of grounded Puss in Boots as a character.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
Yeah, so I mean that's something that can also be like discussed within like character development, but I feel like it was a very important written scene.
Yeah.
And then just like the rest of everything that they did with like I love what they did with the opening, where how boisterous he is and like singing his like Fearless Hero song and like just going like absolutely crazy on that giant that came into his town, and like everything, like it was just so smartly written, like just like it's on the same level as I feel like Shrek is.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I swear, like one of the writers of the first one came back for this one.
Let's find out. So, do you think he did like the story by?
So yeah, so it says the head. So well, wait. Oh, they changed directors? Okay, never mind. Well, because says it was announced that the film would be helmed by Bob Persichetti, the head of story of the first film and one of the three directors of Sony Animation Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. But then it says in February 2019, Crawford was later announced as the new director. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. Wow, I'm effing this up. I'm sorry. So Bob Persichetti was announced in February of 2019, but then it was changed to Crawford in March of 2021. Along with Mercado, who was the head of story on the first film. Okay, there we go.
Okay. So the writers for this, so the story was by Tommy Swerdlow and Tom Wheeler. So they wrote the story. So Tommy Swerdlow has worked on. So he did the screenplay for The Grinch.
Oh, okay.
And he also did the screenplay for Little Giants and Snow Dogs.
Okay, that's a throwback right there.
Yeah, right? And so the other writer, or the story by writer, was Tom Wheeler, and he's actually done some really good stuff too. So he worked on the first Puss in Boots movie. He did the screenplay for the Three Diablos Puss in Boots short.
I never saw that.
He did the Lego Ninjago movie, which wasn't half bad.
Yeah, I enjoyed that one.
He also wrote the story for Dora and the Lost City of Gold.
I love it. That's awesome.
Yeah, and then the other writer, or the screenplay writer, Paul Fisher, he worked on the Puss in Boots TV series. He also worked on the Lego Ninjago movie.
Okay.
He wrote the screenplay for The Croods and New Age. And he also worked on Flushed Away.
All right, very nice.
Yeah, I mean, so it doesn't seem like any of them worked on like previous like Shrek material. Like it's always kind of been Puss in Boots related, or like
yeah,
like the Lego movies. But the Lego movies are also like really well written.
That is very true. They really are. God, those are so enjoyable.
Yeah, they are. So yeah, I personally feel like their writing was top notch.
It really was. Would you go higher than story?
I might be where you were at with story. I might be sitting at like a 91.
I think, you know what? I'm going to give my story and writing the same, so I'm going to match you with a 91 as well.
All right, next up we got voice acting. So first we got Antonio Banderas, who voiced Puss in Boots. We have Salma Hayek, who voiced Kitty Softpaws. Harvey Guillen, who voices Perrito. Florence Pugh, who voices Goldilocks. John Mulaney, who voices Jack Horner. Wagner Moura, who voices the Big Bad Wolf. Ray Winstone, who voices Papa Bear. Samson Kayo, who voices Baby Bear. And then Olivia Colman, who voices Mama Bear. Like, there wasn't a huge list for, like, this cast. Like, it was a pretty, like, well compacted cast.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, honestly, like, so those were like the main people, and then the rest of the cast, like the only like big ones that like, and it's not even like the actors being big, it would just be like the bonus characters. Like we got Pinocchio and the Gingerbread Man.
Yeah, oh God, it was so great seeing those two together. Or not together, just seeing those two.
Yeah, I freaking loved them. And then like the rest of them were the Baker's Dozen gang members.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, this movie probably didn't spend a whole lot on like just the cast. So probably saved a lot of money going that way. But I freaking... This cast, dude, they were incredible.
They really were. Like, oh my God, it was so good.
Yeah, and especially, like, so... I mean, there are 3 actors that had never done voice work before that did incredible work. So do you have the cast list pulled up?
I do.
Take a shot at who you feel like didn't do, like who hasn't done voice work before.
I think Florence Pugh is one of them.
Yeah, she's definitely one of them.
Okay. This is just a shot in the dark. Wagner Mora?
Damn. Yep.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Holy shit! Damn. I would have believed that he'd been doing it forever.
Yeah. So he voiced the big bad wolf, and yeah, his performance was incredibly terrifying.
Yeah. Last one's hard. All right, shot in the dark. Olivia Colman.
No,
Damn.
it was actually Ray Winstone.
Son of a bitch! That was gonna be my second. God damn it! So close. I was almost 3 for 3.
Yeah, but I mean, dude, for never having done voice work before, those 3 were incredible.
Dude, straight up. Oh my god.
Yeah, like Florence Pugh, dude. Like, there hasn't been a single thing that she's been in that I've disliked.
Same here. Same here.
I actually just recently watched Don't Worry, Darling. And she's very much the best part of that movie.
She's definitely not the problem with it.
Have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
Ooh,
I've just heard
yeah,
it's not that good.
It's not. Have you ever seen The Stepford Wives?
No, I've not.
Shit. Okay, it's basically a remaking of that movie.
Oh, okay.
It's total bullshit. Anyway, yeah, for her first voice acting performance, dude, like absolutely blown away. So let's say top 3. Like, what would your top 3 for this movie be?
Okay, number 3, gotta give it to Florence Pugh as Goldilocks. Oh my god. Like, everything that you said, she was fantastic, and I was caught off guard by, like, how freaking good she was.
Did you know that was her going into, or that she was in this movie, or?
I did not. Like, I'm just like, the voice sounds so familiar. But then finally when the credits started rolling, I'm like, son of a bitch, yeah, it was Florence Pugh.
Yeah, I was actually, I picked up her voice like pretty early on. Like, it took a minute. I was just like, that sounds like really close to Florence Pugh.
I don't know why I didn't pick it up at first, but
is it just
maybe
you,
I'm just
like
so
had a
used-
hard time putting the name to it?
I don't know. Maybe I'm just so used to her talking her in her Yelena voice that whenever she like actually does her real voice, it kind of throws me off.
That's understandable. Just because like when I think of like how she talks, like I always think of like Little Women, because that was like one of my first introductions to her.
That's fair.
It was like Little Women, and then I had just watched like Don't Worry, Darling. So like in that she had an American accent.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And so that was pretty easy to like. It was easy to pick up on.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, like if I had only known her from Black Widow, yeah, I think that might have thrown me off.
Number 2, got to give to John Mulaney as Jack Horner. Oh my god, I love him when he plays villains. He's so freaking good as it. And I will say, like, when it comes to like the 2 like animated roles that he played this year, his voice definitely makes more sense coming out of Jack Horner than it did Chip. Don't get me wrong, I liked him as the voice of Chip, but this voice makes a lot more sense coming out of the character. And just he's so diabolical, he's so evil, and just I loved him so much in this role. So that's my number 2, and then number 1, I of course got to give it to Antonio Banderas coming back to play Puss in Boots. Fantastic as ever. You can still tell that he gives his heart and soul to this role, and I once again had such a great time just hearing his fantastic voice coming out of this amazing character.
Oh yeah. Definitely am giving my number 1 to Antonio Banderas. He just inhabits the voice of Puss in Boots so freaking well. Like, anytime anyone will bring up Puss in Boots, like, that's immediately who I think of. Like, it's always, it will forever be Antonio Banderas for me.
Same. Absolute same.
Like, every time like someone like brings him up, I just like my instant reaction is always hearing the "pray for mercy from."
Yep.
So yeah, love Antonio Banderas as Puss in Boots. So definitely my number 1. My number 2 is actually going to go to. Ooh, this one's. It's honestly, it could be a coin flip for me, but I think we gave it to Wagner Moura, who plays the Big Bad Wolf.
Ooh, yeah, excellent choice.
He has such an intimidating voice.
He does, like, oh my god.
It, like, I don't know what if they altered his voice at all, or like what they did, but it's just the way that he spoke. Like, his voice isn't like super deep, like how you would think like the Big Bad Wolf would talk. It's just has just a shadiness to his voice that's just mind-boggling. It's just unnerving. Like, when you hear him speak and like the way that it like sends the chills down Puss in Boots' spine and like makes his hair stand up on end. It's just like, it does the same to you. Like, I felt myself getting chills when he would talk. It was just, whoa, freaking mind-boggling. And to know that this is his first voice acting performance, dude. What?
That is freaking insane.
Yeah, if he does not, I would be genuinely upset if we don't get to hear him in more villain roles as time goes on.
Oh, dude, same. Yeah, I'm gonna be pissed, honestly.
Yeah, so so good, so freaking good. My number 3, like, this is another like kitty. It's probably like a 3-way coin flip for me on this one. Like, for my number 3 spot. Because it could easily go to Florence Pugh, who voices Goldilocks, and John Mulaney, who plays Jack Horner. But I am actually going to give it to Harley Guillen, or Gillen, however you say that, who voices Perrito.
Okay, I like it.
I just love the innocence that he's able to portray from his voice. Like, it almost gave me like Josh Gad's Olaf vibes.
Yes. Oh, I absolutely agree with you on that one.
Yeah, so I freaking loved what he was able to do, and I don't know if I've ever heard him voice it. Like, let's see who else he's done. Like, if he's done any other like voice work. Yeah, he hasn't really had anything that's like big. Like, he's done a decent amount of voice work. It's just not any big roles.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if there's like anything. Yeah, it's all just like like weird little voice moments, or just like really small roles. And then he's only like in a few episodes of some stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, like Perito is so good. Freaking loved his voice with this. But like I said, 3-way coin flip between Florence Pugh and John Mulaney.
That's fair. That's completely fair.
So yeah, that's my my top 3.
Nice. Very nice.
So what would you give your acting score?
I don't know. It's pretty high. I mean, it's. Wow. Sorry, I had a like brain fart there. Not like honestly, everyone was great. I really didn't have any problems with the cast. Everyone was great. If I can think of like when it comes to like main cast members, like maybe like the one that like didn't really stand out that much to me, maybe Salma Hayek, but she still did an amazing job as Kitty Softpaws, just like she did in the first Puss in Boots. So that's really, I'm not docking her for that because she still brought her A game. It's just some characters and their voices kind of outshined her. So, honestly, I think about a 90.
I am not quite in the 90 range. I think a lot of my issues come from the extras, which obviously they're extras. They're not going to dog it too much. But I definitely agree with you where for someone who's supposed to be one of the main side characters, like Kitty Softpaws, I feel like she shouldn't have been outshined as much as she was. But I mean, if you're talking where Salma Hayek is considered the weakest link from this cast, like that just talks to how incredibly strong this movie is with its
That is
cast.
true. Yeah.
So I'm probably sitting at around like an 87 with acting. All right, moving on over to character development. Obviously, we're going to be doing this off of Puss in Boots and his story arc. What did you think of this? Like this different take of Puss.
I loved it. I honestly, this was such a great idea for a sequel that Puss in Boots is on his last life and like him having to realize how he wants to spend that last life, and then him bringing in the last wish, and if he can get it, he wants his 9 lives back, but then at the ending realizes that the one life that he has been given, the last one, what's been laid out on his table with Kitty Softpaws and Purito, that's the kind of life that he wants. That's where he'd be happy, and that's how he really wants to spend his last life. And so seeing him lead up to that, going through the fear of death, the having to reconcile with Kitty Softpaws, befriending Purito, I feel it's a very strong character arc, especially for Puss in Boots. Like honestly, I didn't think that a side character from the Shrek movies could have such a strong character arc. But lo and behold, here we are. And like honestly, everything that happened to him in this movie did not feel out of character at all. It made sense. The decisions that he made. I feel it was a very good character arc, and honestly, I feel he had a better character arc in this sequel than he did have in the first one. So,
dude, absolutely agree. Like for a children's movie, like they went into some like dark spaces.
they really did.
Like, hell, I feel like if you were to take, like, younger, like, kids that are obviously older than mine, but somewhere in, like maybe 8 through 10, maybe. Like, I feel like this is a movie that would make them question their mortality.
Yeah, dude, right? Seriously.
As weird as that is to say, but it's like you said, like this is like the perfect place for them to take a character like Puss in Boots, who just seems bigger than life, like immortal, like the person that, like, not a single blade has ever touched Puss in Boots. Like I said, someone who's become a symbol, a legend of sorts. And what happens when that legend realizes they're not untouchable? And it's unsettling.
Yeah.
And I think they portrayed it in like a really solid way, where it's like he's not dealing with it in a healthy way. Like he's more or less running from it. He's running from his own mortality. He's realizing the error of his ways when he's confronted with these past lives of his. Where he's running from these things that might alter what he perceives himself to be, where it's this legend, where that's why he ran away from Kitty Softpaws at the, like, why he left her at the altar, even though she admitted that she wasn't even there.
That was freaking hilarious.
But
not out of character at all for either, and I loved that.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, it's like he didn't want to tie himself down because that's not what the legend would do. He wouldn't tie himself down, but he eventually worked to this place where he realized the errors and was just like, yeah, I made a mistake with that. Like, I should have gone. Like, I shouldn't have left her there. And realizing that he should have taken better care of his, like, realizing the reckless and foolish ways of his past lives. And just taking all of that to become someone completely different from how he started, with like willing to take death on, like, head on. So it was a really good arc, especially for a kids movie.
Yeah, seriously, man.
Like, it was so good. Like, it was like, it's one of those, it's just like it hits you deep, dude. And
it
like,
really does.
Especially like the other issues. Like, I will say this, like, if they dropped the ball anywhere, it's they dropped it on Jack Horner just being evil for evil's sake. But
fair.
Puss made up for that tenfold. And then you have the, like, that arc of Goldilocks, like wanting a family, like wanting a real family, or like, or whatever. So I mean, they dealt with those like big topics of like adopted families and mortality in such like a strong and powerful way. Like, it's almost hard to believe that they came out of a child's movie.
Yeah, dude, seriously.
Yeah, so this is probably one of the highest score. I think I'm sitting at like a 94 for character development.
Oh, I can so match you on that.
All right, next up we got effects, with this being an animated film, it's more just talking about the animation, which was flawless.
Oh, beautiful. Like, oh my god.
Dude, this animation worked so well for someone like Puss in Boots.
Yep, it really did. Oh god, I loved it.
Like, oh my gosh, dude! Even compared to the first one, like the first Puss in Boots movie, this animation makes a world of difference. Like, with everything, like the colors of Puss are way more vibrant. He's like animated in a way that just makes everything about him pop.
Especially the fur. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, hell, with me it was the freaking eyes too.
Oh my god, when they were having that freaking like freaking sad eye off. Wow, the sad eyes off. That was freaking amazing.
Yeah. Dude, I feel like this animation style, like I said, this is my new favorite animation style, just period. But it makes the action that that everyone performs feel more like comic booky.
Yes.
In a great way, or even like an anime sort of way.
There you go. That's a good way to put it.
Where, I mean, you have those the line motions, or where it's just like an instant pop off, where it feels like there's more energy behind the movement. And then, like I said, just the vibrancy of the colors, it just worked incredibly well. But there's still like some sort of like realistic vibe to them, where they're not going so outside of the realm of it feels like they're trying to stay true to their original character design, just amping it up a little bit, because like you could still see the individual furs on Puss in Boots's body, and like Kitty Softpaws and all that. Like you can see the textures. It's just when it came to motion, it's like they went like a really interesting route, like especially when he was like in the beginning when he's fighting the giant. Like the giant is making these big sweeping motions, but he's moving at like a slower frame rate, so it feels more like cartoony, but in a good way. Like, oh, it's so hard to explain. But then it's like with the like how I would explain it is when it's when it's maybe slower paced, where they're not like rushing or anything. The movement of the characters feels very fluid, very smooth, and very like high frame rate. And then it's like boom, action sequence. They're running, they're jumping, they're doing this, they're doing that. Like they're going like just crazy. Like they lower the frame rate, so it kind of has that same vibe that Into the Spider-Verse feels.
Yeah.
So it's like I freaking loved it. Like I have nothing bad to say about the animation whatsoever.
Yeah, neither do I.
So I don't know about you, but I'm sitting at a solid 100 for effects.
I can match that, man. No problems at all.
All right, what do you got for music?
I mean, the number that they open with, what is it?
Our Fearless Hero?
Yes. Was that like the only song that like they actually sung in the movie?
Yes.
Okay.
Like that was sung. They had some other like songs throughout.
Yeah.
But that was the only one that they like sung.
No, that was really good. All of the honestly, the whole soundtrack I feel was really good. It matched the movie. I'll admit it. I felt it wasn't anything special. But that doesn't mean that it wasn't good. It was very good. It matched the scenes that it needed to, and yeah, I don't know what else to say. It was a really good soundtrack.
It was a really solid soundtrack. And, like, The Fearless Hero is something that got stuck in my head, so I have to give some bonus points for that. But the rest of the soundtrack, like you said, worked well. Wasn't anything too spectacular. So where do you think you're sitting with music?
I'm at like a 7.
A 7?
Yeah.
Ooh. I'm personally at an 8, but I mean, you give you can give it the score you want.
No,
Like
I can
I
give
think
it an
like
8.
the only reason I'm at an 8 is because of how catchy I found that one song to be.
That, you know what? You got a good point. I'll match you with an 8.
Okay. Alright, next up we got costumes, but with this being an animated movie, we're going to be talking about character design.
Yes.
And holy, like, first off, Puss in Boots, incredible looking.
As always.
Yeah, I mean, he, like, ever since his introduction from, what was it, Shrek 2?
Yep.
Yeah, ever since that introduction of his to the cinema, he has had an iconic look about him. And this movie's no different. Like, honestly, like, I think he looks better in this movie than he has in, like, anything else.
Oh, I absolutely agree.
Like, and that's just like the step up in the animation style. Going through the other characters, Kitty Softpaws, again, like, they kind of went with like the same character design. She looked amazing. I actually think they went a little bit more vibrant with her eyes.
I think they did too. Yeah.
Like, her eyes just stand out a lot more. And I think my only complaint with Kitty Softpaws is, like, you can't really tell when she has her mask on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, dude. I completely agree with that.
But, I mean, whatever. Like, that's not a big complaint whatsoever. So, I think her design is on spot. Perrito is freaking adorable. Like, it's just supposed to be this ugly-looking little chihuahua. And, like, he's, like, so ugly but so cute at the same time. It's, like, so hard to feel, like, where he's sitting.
Do you feel like Cassie and Ant-Man? He's so ugly, I love him.
Yeah, pretty much. But those are, like, just the main three, but that's not even talking about everyone else that they freaking had in this. Like, Goldilocks?
Yeah, I loved her design.
I did too. I love that they didn't give her just, like, the classic, like long hair or just, like, kind of done up. Like, they did something like, they kind of went with like a super extreme version of, like, the Hocus Pocus haircut with Winifred.
Yeah, they did.
But it works for her, like, especially for her character.
Yeah.
Like, I love that. The three bears, like, were iconic. Like, they each had their own vibe, and, like, Mama Bear having, like, the pink beret, Papa Bear being, like, all torn up and scarred, and then Baby Bear just kind of having, like, a fresh face and just being a little bit, like, smaller than everyone else.
Yeah.
Like, that looked amazing. Like, I could pick those out of a freaking lineup anywhere. And then, talking about, like, the villain, the freaking big bad wolf, is freaking nightmare fuel in the best possible way.
Yeah. Absolutely agree.
Like, I'm bummed out that we're probably never going to see him again.
Yeah, I am too.
So, yeah, his character design was good. Freaking Jack Horner's was, too. DreamWorks has a really hard time letting me down when it comes to character design.
Oh, same here. Yeah.
Like, I can't think of a single... I'm going to Google real quick just to make sure I don't put my foot in my mouth. Yeah, okay. I now that I'm like looking at a full list of DreamWorks movies, there are very, very few of these movies where I would have a hard time picking out the characters based off of their silhouettes alone.
Yeah,
And honestly,
I absolutely agree with that.
The only ones that I feel I would have trouble with are maybe like The Prince of Egypt, Road to El Dorado, and Sinbad. Just because I feel like those are just very like similarly animated.
Fair.
But everyone else, like, I could pick them out in a heartbeat. Like, wouldn't even be kind of hard. I mean, because you got like iconic characters like the frickin' Chicken Run people, Shrek, like anyone in Shrek, Shark Tale, Madagascar, Over the Hedge, frickin' Wallace and Gromit, the Bee Movie, Kung Fu Panda, Monsters vs. Aliens, How to Train Your Dragon. Like, you're telling me there's no way that you couldn't pick those people out of a lineup.
Yeah, agreed.
And like that's something DreamWorks I think just excels at, is their character design. Like, despite what you may feel about their movies, whether you think they're like dumb or whatever the hell you may think of DreamWorks, there's one thing you can't argue with, and it's that they have iconic looking characters.
Yep.
And it's only in their early stuff where that you can't, where they're like, you could even get into an area where it's like, oh, that might be a little hard to distinguish. Like, there's nothing that they've made within, maybe, I'll also go as far as saying within the past 5 years, where you'd have a hard time picking their characters out.
Yeah, I agree.
So, freaking props upon props when it comes to costumes. So, what are you thinking?
I don't know, I'd probably say like I'm at a 9.
It's honestly about where I was at too.
Okay, sweet.
Like, I think I may be like more leaning towards a 9.5.
That's
if
fair.
anything, but, and I think the only reason it's just like kind of shy of a 10 might be because of Jack Horner.
Okay, yeah, I can agree with that.
But yeah, like, they're freaking amazing. All right, last up we got our own personal score.
Who do you want to take this first?
You pick.
I can go first.
Okay.
Overall, such a great sequel. I can't say enough good about this. It's so great seeing Puss in Boots back. Honestly, I've missed the Shrek franchise. I really have. So having one of the best characters in that whole series get another movie to his own. Wow, another movie to himself. That's what I was going for. Was fantastic, and it delivered, and then some. Such a great sequel. Introduced some great new characters. Yeah, I really can't say enough good about this movie. So, you know, I think I'm gonna go a 91 for my personal score.
I'm actually just slightly lower than you. I'm sitting at a solid 90.
All right, hell yeah.
Like I said, I had an absolute blast with this movie. It was a lot better than I was anticipating it to be. And it just surprised me in so many different aspects. Like the story was well written, and like I covered, it was just maybe a little busy, but I mean that's just a super minor complaint when all's real said and done. But the animation on this is what just blew me away. Like, I love the updated animation style that Dreamworks is adopting, even though it does feel very reminiscent of Into the Spider-Verse. I'm not the least bit upset about it. Like, if this is the animation style that Dreamworks wants to adopt from now on, I highly encourage it. It is so good, just visually stunning to look at in all aspects. So loved it, loved the characters, loved the voice acting, and yeah, and I think it says a lot that the acting was like our lowest score.
Yeah, dude, seriously though.
Like, I think that just goes to show how amazing this movie was. But yeah, so like I said, I'm giving it a 90. And since that concludes this week's breakdown, going through our scores really quick. Starting off with story, we were started off on a very strong foot, sitting at a very solid 90. Writing got a point higher, sitting at a 91. Acting, like we said, got the lowest of our score, sitting at an 88.5. Character development got a significant bump, sitting at a 94. The effects were just pure perfection, sitting at a very solid 100. Music came down a little bit, even though they did have a really catchy tune, and the soundtrack seemed to work fairly well. It wasn't something that was super memorable. So music sitting at an 8. Costumes, which this was just kind of covers character design for an animated film like this, sitting at a solid 9. And this is mainly just due to maybe the antagonist not looking the greatest, but everyone else looked very iconic. And then our personal score averaged out to a 90.5. So with that has brought our Puss in Boots: The Last Wish Allbros letter grade to an A-.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's freaking awesome.
Woo!
Yeah, so Puss in Boots: The Last Wish is sitting at a 91.12%. Like I said, sitting at a very solid A-. So, comparing that to other A- movies that we have scored, this puts it below Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, which is at a 91.2%. Any thought? All right, you just breathed really heavy.
Oh, I did? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
I thought you did.
Oh, no, dude, I got nothing for that. I mean, that's awesome for Shang-Chi.
Yeah, let's see. It is also below Coco, which is at a 91.4.
That's fair. Coco is... Oh, God, I just love that movie.
It is also below The Batman, which is at a 91.62.
All right.
It's below Logan, which is at a 91.81. And then finally, it is below Our Friend, which is at a 92.12.
All right.
Yeah, moving the opposite direction, it puts it above Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which is at a 91.1.
Definitely agree with that.
It is above How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World, which is at a 91.
Definitely agree with that one.
It is above the Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is at a 90.93.
All right.
It is above Turning Red, which is at a 90.87.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then finally, it is above Tusk, which is at a 90.79.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, right? I mean, it's so good.
That's awesome. All right. Well, I would say that concludes this week's episode. If you like what you heard and you want to hear more, be sure to follow and subscribe to us wherever you listen to podcasts. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts. We are literally everywhere. If you want to catch our episodes on YouTube, if that's your preferred listening platform, you can find us there. If you want to follow us on social media, where you can DM us with episode ideas, answer our questions of the week, or if you would like to join us, that is the best way to get in contact with us. Those include Facebook, facebook.com/The Allbros, Twitter and Instagram, and TikTok @The Allbros. Or if you prefer to email us, if that's your preferred way to get in contact with us, you can do so, theallbroschannel@gmail.com. If you want to check out our website, you can do so, tinyurl.com/The Allbros. And if you want to check out our merch store, you can find us at tpublic.com/user/The Allbros channel. If you want to get some of Caleb's amazing art that he does for each and every episode, because it is freaking amazing. And like I've said, I appreciate the hell out of him for doing it. Next week on the podcast, we'll be breaking down the newest Disney animated film, Strange World, which you can watch right now on Disney Plus. Because we all know this movie did not do that well at all at the box office. Like, god damn. It did so bad.
Dude, people are... spoiler alert. People are singing this movie's praises now that it's out on streaming. And I don't think it deserves it.
Alright, well, let's see if we both are not the biggest fan of it. Because I have not seen it yet. So, we shall see. But until then, this has been the Allbros Podcast. I'm Jonathan.
And I'm Caleb.
And we'll catch you guys on the flippity flop. Bye. I don't know what the hell that was.
Deuces.